Hi, my name is Dean Bonner, and I'm a research associate for the PPIC Statewide Survey. Today, I would like to talk briefly about California's registered voters, specifically focusing on those we consider most likely to vote. I'll first discuss changes in voter registration over time, then I'll provide a demographic profile of likely voters in California. Finally, using our surveys, I'll examine the difference between likely voters and those who are not registered to vote. However, first I would like to provide some background information about the statewide survey. The survey was started in 1998 and is conducted at regular intervals with California adults. Interviews are conducted by telephone, both landline phones and cell phones, and in multiple languages. At PPIC, likely voters are defined as registered voters who we identify as frequent voters in elections based on previous election participation, interest in politics, and other demographic characteristics. Now, let's take a look at overall voter registration in California. Today, Democrats continue to outnumber Republicans, while independents, also known as decline-to-state voters, make up 1 in 5 registered voters. But there has been a long-term decline in the share of voters registered with both major parties. In the last 10 years, Democratic registration has remained flat, while the Republican share has declined. At the same time, there's been a steady increase in the share of independents. And what do we know about this fast-growing group of voters? In PPIC surveys, independent likely voters are more likely to describe themselves as middle of the road rather than liberal or conservative. However, when pressed, a plurality of independents view themselves as closer to the Democratic Party. Now, let's take a look at the Californians who are most likely to vote. Likely voters in our surveys largely mirror party registration statistics, with Democrats outnumbering Republicans. However, while likely voters reflect registration, there are demographic differences among partisan likely voters. Republican likely voters are overwhelmingly white, tend to live in more affluent households, and are age 55 and older, while Democratic likely voters are more racially diverse, tend to live in lower income households, and a larger percentage are women. Independent likely voters are also a racially diverse group and are more likely to be men than women and be college graduates. Finally, let's examine how likely voters compare to those who are not registered to vote. While no racial or ethnic group has a majority in California, likely voters in our surveys are disproportionately white. Those who are not registered to vote are disproportionately Latino. And the differences don't end there. Likely voters tend to be older, more affluent, college educated, and homeowners, while those who are not registered to vote are more likely to be younger, lower income, less educated, and renters. These demographic differences highlight the fact that often the people who go to the polls in California are very different from those who don't, thus creating an exclusive electorate. Recent elections have seen an increase in turnout from younger and Latino Californians, which could lead to an electorate that is more representative of the state's population. Increasing voter turnout is a goal of many in the state, and just last year, the state began online voter registration. Will recent increases among Latinos and younger voters, along with efforts to increase turnout, result in a more representative electorate in 2014? Only time will tell, but stay tuned to PPIC for more analysis of California voters. And thank you for listening.